Welcome back to Railroads Online, and this is episode 9 of the playthrough. And we are still up here at the iron mine, but I have done a couple of runs off camera. As you can see, we've got a few more funds there. We also had to do a run of logs because the sawmill ran out of wood. And today we're going to run these ones back down the hill, but we're not going to roll down on the brakes. We're just going to let it go. No brakes, and up to speed, and just see whether or not we derail. We might need a bit of wood in there. We have run out of fire. So we'll get this thing up to speed. Everyone's coming along behind us. We'll pull the throttle back a little. And no brakes. As soon as we get down here over the edge of the transition, we'll turn off the throttle, or we'll turn it down anyway. We'll turn it down to about 8, and we'll just let it roll down the hill. And let's see how we go. Let's see if we have a derail. This will be the telling factor of how good our line is. If we can just let it roll and see if we fall off. Now, probably notice I've put a derail counter up in the corner. I've stolen Heiss's derail counter, so we can add to it if we put them in the dirt. But it doesn't seem to be all that bad so far. It is a fairly open route. There's only one corner I've got concerns about, and that's the really big tight corner, the 29-degree corner that goes around the end of the bluff, that basically the entryway into the big valley, where I don't normally like to run the line at. But because we needed to get extra length, I had to put it around there. It would take a complete redesign of the rail around the sawmill if I was to put the exit line which leads up here on the north side of the sawmill cutting, which that on its own would give us the extra length that we needed in this track to be able to reach here at 1.5 and without needing to go around that big corner over there on the end in front of us. We've still got all 12. Yeah, all 12 are still behind us. There's no bounce and carry going on yet. We might give it just a little bit more regulator. Let's pull it up to 11. We'll get down here as fast as possible. There we go. We can see the tenders starting to bounce around a little bit now. So I think we're at speed. This is constant 1.5. There's no level off areas. There's no steep areas. It is a good constant grade the whole way. And this is the corner I'm worried about. Here it goes. Will I be picking them up off the side of a cliff face? Ooh, it's going faster around here than what I'd like to go. Oh, it seems that because it's smooth, we're not going to have any problems at all. So there we go. We can come back down absolutely flat out looking at that. Well, I don't have railroads extended installed, so I can't see what speed we're actually doing. But we've got to be very close to the speed limit by the way the tender's bouncing around just that little bit. That will be one of the really good things with the new update that's coming, is the speed limits will be removed completely and we'll be able to go as fast as what the locomotive will allow us to go. But it also changes the way the rail cars will interact with the track, and there'll be a predetermined set of reasons or yeah, had a brain fart. But there'll be a predetermined set of causes that will make the rail cars come off. And whether that be at a point of going too fast around a corner or too much of a bump. But yeah, we haven't seen anything on that yet. So far, when you look in the dev build, everything sticks to the rails like it's glue, like it's a roller coaster. There's no derail physics put into the new system at all yet. It's still yet to be added. And we have made it all the way down. We're practically there. This is all straight here. So we're going to pick up the speed even just a little bit more while we're running downhill. Can we even make it derail? And it doesn't look like we can. And there's only 2 more corners to go. And these are only 25s, this little S bend here at the end. And I don't think we'll fall off on it. There we go. I'm going to call that a safe line. We can get up and down there at pretty much the cap speed limit. And we'll run these around and put them back at the cranes so that they can be ready to get together another load. A bit more on that regulator. It should be lined in already because we just came from here. So yes, a twisty mountain line that you can run down at speed cap. I'm quite happy with that. Alright, back off the power. And start dragging a little bit of brake as we come in here to the cranes. Let it roll gently up to the other end. I'm pretty sure all 12 are there. We'll go back and check the number on the last car. Make sure we've got all 12. We'll pull up a little bit soon. Won't hurt. Make sure that the last car is actually number 12. And it is. Everyone got here safely. No derails today. So what we're going to work on now is to work our way down to the smelter. Because we need to start getting that stocked with some cordwood and some of the iron ore. And we need to get a line down there first. And I'm going to go down there the most common route, which it's the fastest way to get down there, and you can get down there with a reasonably good grade. I'm going to try for a 2.5%. And where's our line start from? Right here. And we'll put our cross track back on the end that we deleted. We must remember to remove that because it crosses over this lane and we don't want it destroying us. Okay, and we'll continue out just a little bit because we need to put a slight little curve in here. So we'll just put in a couple of little short pieces of single segment. It'll only be a gentle curve. And we'll just work through the trees. They're not really in our way yet. Okay, that should be a smooth enough curve. Okay, well, I'm going to pause the recording here and I'm going to come through and clean out a heap of trees, and I will see you back when the trees are gone. And we are back again, and I have a path cleared from the top here down across the gully down to the mouth of the sawmill cutting. And now we're just going to run some groundworks out, all level groundworks just to the top of the little hill here. And I'll do the fan trick just because we don't know where this track is going to end up. Give us a little bit more room to build on. We'll put a little bit extra width in here so that we can, just in case we need to build more than what I've allowed for there. We may even need to come a little bit wider here, I think. So I'll just build it out just a little bit more of a fan off out to this edge. Just gives us more room to put the track in first go without needing to stop and add a bit of groundworks, because we just didn't quite have enough coverage to go where we wanted to go. And it's all level. You can see it's Z fighting everywhere. That's a good sign for groundworks that you want to put your track on. And you can see here now we're at the top of this hill here, and it actually starts to drop off a little bit here. So what we'll need to do is work out where the track is going to meet up at the top of that hill, and then we'll put a transition in. So we'll come back up here to the cross track and start building from the cross track. All in normal rail. And start off with 3. That's not going to bring us around far enough, so we'll step up 2 more. And I still don't think that's going to bring us far around enough, so we'll step up 2 more. And we're starting to get closer. 9 might be too far, I think. We'll run with 9, we'll see where we end up at. Yeah, 9 was a little bit too tight. We could have stayed with the 7, I think. So let's go repeat what we did. Pull it back out again so we know what radius we need now to get round that curve, and take it out, and let's try again. So we'll start off across the cross track, put on the alt lock, and it was 3. Then the next one was 5. And then 7, and let's continue all the way around the corner then with the rest of them being 7. See where that brings us out at. That's looking like it's going to get us towards the end of that last couple of pieces we put down. And I think we can start backing out of it a little bit now. We might put in 1 more. And now we'll back out of it. Back out 2. Back out another 2. and back out completely to straight. And continue along here straight now until we get just to the top of this hill here. And we're going to need to start putting another corner in here. So we want to step in. We'll go 3 again. I want it to turn gently, because we want to be able to fly up this as quick as we can possibly go. And then up to 7. Oop, it's 8. We want 7. 7, and we have run out of room. So we'll end the spline there, and we have to delete the last segment because it doesn't conform to the spline. And now we need to put in a little transition here, so we want variable, and we'll make it a very subtle transition. So we'll come to the end of here with 1, and we're also working with 7s at the moment. So we'll put the alt lock on and put this on 7, and we will go down a quarter, and forward another 7, go down another quarter, down a quarter, and I'm pretty sure 3/4 is as much as we need to go. Yes, that should. Only got to go 0.75 down. So we'll put in 1 more 0.75, and that's got us pointed the right direction where we want to go. Now we can go for a constant. 0.75. And we want it to point over that direction. It's only just above the ground. And another one. Oh, that was incorrect. Let's remove that. That was level. We needed to keep going downhill. Actually, I think we could nearly get to a 1 degree down there. Let's take this one here out as well. This last one's 0.7. We can come down on the next step to a 1 degree down. Let's see where that takes us. Put in a full length piece here. Yeah, that might work a little bit better. And again, we want to go with a constant and a 1% down. Where does that bring us on the other side of the gully here? We should be pretty close to the ground again. Oh, look at that. That's nice. I like that. That looks pretty good. Well, this is another, we'll build a bridge without building a bridge. So basically, we'll just come across here with the groundwork and then work from there. And we'll build our track down to here. So we'll put another little constant on here, and we'll make it 0.5, and 1 more little constant on the end, which is level. And we're back to level ground again. Let's go up and continue the track down here. And when we've got this track finalised, we'll go back and we'll build a long single spline over the top of it and delete what's out underneath to keep our spline counts down. And snap to the end, and we were building with a 7. And hopefully this should stay on. This ground works pretty well. And it does, look at that. Okay, I think we can start backing out of the corner a little bit here now. So we'll come to the 5. Go to the 3. And which direction we're going to go. Yeah, we might put a 1 in as well. Now we'll come straight. That's going to take us straight across the little gully. And there's the other bridge over there. It's in a scenic position for this bridge with the 2 different heights. We have gone a little bit off center, but that's not a problem. We can live with that. Now there is a high spot here, just in here somewhere, and I think it's there. We have to avoid that. There, and 1 more, and we are now back on level ground again. Let's continue some more groundworks, and we'll do the fan thing. And before we do that, can't see where we're building because we've gotten close to the ground again, so we'll go into the graphics and we'll put our foliage off, and now we can see where we're building. And put another fan down here so that we can work our way around this corner smoothly. This is all level here all the way until you get to almost at the mouth of the cutting. As I hope the audio has been a little bit better the last couple of movies. I've been doing a little bit of research on how to get my cheap microphone to actually sound a little bit better than what it was, with no squeaks and pops in the background. I've got noise gates and suppression filters and everything going on it, and hopefully still my voice is still nice and clear over the top of it. It's not sure where the track's actually going to fit through here, so yeah, I'll put a decent amount of width, pretty much just fill the bottom of the cutting, and you can see where the ground's just about to start dropping away here in front of us again. And this is about as far as we can build, and we need to build the track to about here because this is where the transition will go. We'll start to transition down from the level to 2.5 as we go around the corner. That's giving us heaps of width to build the track on wherever it needs to be. Where is our track? All the way back up here. Okay, we'll mark this spot here. This is going to have an overlap on it. Now let's start building with the alt locker going again. From 1 straight. We might start him with a 1. We'll go to a 4. And then a 7. I don't reckon we'll get around there with that, so we'll try a 9. Let's see if we can get around with a 9. Looks like this is going to work. All the way around, and then we'll step it back to a 7. Back to the 4. And the 1. And straight. As we come to the end of this cutting, we want to try and keep to the right hand side as much as we can, because we're going to do a left hand corner, and we want to try and keep it as close at the apex of the corner to the, so we'll start to do a little bit of more of a turn in here, so we'll go for a 3. We might step it up 1 more to a 4. We want to try and keep right over this right hand side of the cutting. I think we're over as far as we need to go. We'll start moving it out of the corner. Whoop, wrong way. 2. And a 1. And back to straight. I guess we sort of want to come down here on this right hand side here, so that we can bring it around to the left and be pointing this way to keep on the edge of this hill that's running around here. Okay, so now that we're built all the way down here, we'll call this the end of spline 1, because it's going to take 3 splines, maybe even 4 splines to get down there, where we'll go back and we'll build completely over the top of this spline and turn these 3 into 1. And we've got a joint up here to delete, where there's an overlap. Actually, I think there's another overlap even further up that we forgot to mark. And we need it on rails, and one of those is not real. It was just before the entry to this corner. And I don't know whether or not we'll be actually able to see it. Yes, there it is right there. And it will be the corded one, so it'll be the one on the right hand side. I'm quite happy where this line's gone in at. And we're finished with the cross track as well. Rails, and just snap it to every single joint. So we'll turn it all into 1 spline instead of being 3. Now, it takes a little bit extra time doing all these extra steps, but the end result is worth it when you get really good track that you can fly down at full speed and not even have to worry about having a derail. Because all my derails so far have been on the backside of switches. Which drives me crazy. I screaming kick switch every single time. Well, it's been said many a time there on the Discord that back in this era, they did not have kick switches on narrow gauge or even spring switches. Even though we will be getting them after the spline update. I don't know how long they'll last for in the build. Whether a way is found to make them be normal switches again with the procedural switches. I thought I missed a link. There it is. And the spline should be long enough for us to reach all the way to the end. Because you only get a limited number of control points per spline. And I'm not 100% sure what that figure is. I think it might be 64. But don't quote me on it. I would have to actually put down a piece and count them. But because most things happen in square numbers in computers, 32 is too short, and 64 sounds like it's more logical, and 128, I know that couldn't possibly be that long. So yes, that's why I'm taking a rough guess to say that it'll be 64 points for a spline. And we're nearly to the end. A couple more points to go. This one and the last one. And move over here so that we're out of the distance of placing a rail. Select that as well and click and hold. And because we're holding it, won't actually place the rail. And now we can run back along this line and delete all the track that's underneath it. I find it deletes better if you keep the mouse pointer on the actual metal rail itself instead of trying to delete from the tyres. Even though it will delete from the tyres, sometimes it misses. There was a piece that obviously changed. We had a different tie count over that one there. And here's a couple more where the tie count was slightly different. All the way back to the start. And you can see it deleting. The delete symbol and the arrow symbol keeps alternating between one and the other every time I come over a new piece of rail. One more corner. All the way back to here. There we go, we can right click and put that in. Wait for it to place. We might do a save on that. Put in a long spline. And I always do a double save, so I've got the one I'm playing on, and then I've also got a backup of it, just in case something happens to one of the files. Next is to remove all the groundwork. All the temporary groundwork we put down, so we'll run down and get rid of all the temporary groundwork. Leave us with some floating track. One big spline out from under in the gully. We do need to leave one little piece right on the end so that we've got a height to work from. And actually, just in case we need to do an edit, because this is all level here, we will take a piece and go out here and hide it in amongst the trees. Put a tiny little piece here hidden in the trees, just in case we ever need to come back and do an edit somewhere along here on this level area. We have a height that we can take a sample from, which is the laid height for the track. And we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves down here. We don't want to delete this last section until we've got a little tiny piece to build from here. So that we know what height we're working at. That's all we need here on the end. It gives us our height to continue building from. And the next step is to come through and put the groundworks in. And I'll check the recording time, and that looks like it's all for today. So I'll run back up to the top. And it's, yeah, the same as I build every other time. It'll be put the groundworks in. You run to a full spline all the way through with gravel, and then come back along the gravel and delete the bits that are too deep for gravel and replace them with stone wall with a big single line through with stone wall. And the bits that are too deep for stone wall, then you delete them out with the stone wall and put them in with bridge, and that'll be this section here will get put in with bridge where we go across the gully, building a bridge without actually building a bridge. And then last, of course, is to build up over the top of it, snapping to the control points with decking rail over the top of the bridge. And I'll have that completed off camera, and depending on how many people say yes in the comments, I will do the next episode as a live stream as I build that last section from the sawmill cutting down to the smelter, because that's one that a lot of people have trouble with, and if I have the whole method of getting down there all in one video, it might be helpful to a few people. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.